Good evening, everyone. I now call to order the Tuesday, January 14th, 2025 meeting of the City of Sugar Land Planning and Zoning Commission. I almost choked on the date, January 14th, 2025. Hello, everyone. Good evening, commissioners. Good evening, staff, and everyone present. Hope everyone had a lovely, delightful, restful holiday season. We will start with item 2, public comment. Do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
No, Chair, we do not.
Item 3A, consideration of an action of the minutes of the December 10, 2024 Planning and Zoning meeting. Commissioners, you have the minutes in your packets. Any revisions?
Motion to approve. Second.
I've got a motion to approve by Commissioner Landine and a second by Commissioner Brown. Any further discussion? Please vote.
Mine's a yes.
Ooh. Okay, my voting there it is. It's back. Yeah, Commissioner Patel, are you?
Yeah, I was a yes.
Are you an aye on that?
I'm an aye.
All right, that passes unanimously among the members present. We will move on to item 4A, consideration of an action on the Rye Hill Section 2A preliminary plat. Jessica Eccles, interim senior planner. Good evening. Take it away.
Good evening. So a little background, I know you guys have seen this slide a few times already. Just a little background on preliminary plats. The purpose of them is to lay out the lots and streets and ensure that they comply with the minimum lot sizes and that the minimum right-of-ways can be met. Reserves and access are also shown on preliminary plats where applicable, but master notes, signature blocks, and proposed easements are not shown on preliminary plats. Those will be shown on the final plat. In addition to that, preliminary plats are also not recorded at the county. Those are the final plats. Because this item includes residential lots, box exhibits are required for preliminary plats that have residential, and the purpose of a box exhibit is to demonstrate that the proposed lots meet the required minimum lot width at the front building line. The boxes shown on the exhibit do not represent building footprints or pads. The width of the box is to demonstrate the minimum lot width, and it's placed on the front building line, and it is along the shortest tangent to the required front building line, and it's between the two lot lines to show that the lots meet that minimum width. And boxes are required to be placed on non-perpendicular lots. So some exhibits will show boxes on every single lot, but they're only required to be shown on the non-perpendicular lots. So lots that are on any curved street or cul-de-sac. And again, a little overview on Rye Hill development. The City of Sugar Land entered into a development agreement with Pulte Homes on December 5th of 2023. It's for a proposed 958.46 acre master planned mixed use community in the city's ETJ. It's going to include a mix of approximately 2,335 single family residential and Del Webb residential lots. The development agreement outlines the minimum lot sizes for both those Del Webb and single family residential lots. So the single family residential have to have a minimum of either 40, 45, 50, or 60 foot wide lots, and the Del Webb have to have a minimum of 40, 50, or 60 foot wide lots. In addition to that residential, the development will also include a maximum of 60 acres of flex or commercial uses north of FM 2759. For this item, this is the preliminary plat for Rye Hill Section 2A. It's 11.44 acres and consists of 40 single-family residential lots, 3 blocks, and 3 reserves. The lots within this section range from 40 to 60-foot wide lots, except for those on corners. Those are additional 10 feet in width. This section is located south of FM's 2759 and east of FM 762, and access to this section will be provided by Rye Hill Parkway. Here is the Rye Hill general plan that was approved as part of the development agreement. The red box indicates where this section is located within the general plan. And here is the proposed preliminary plat. As you can see, it's 40 lots, 3 blocks, and 3 reserves. And here is the proposed box exhibit. Again, on this box exhibit, it's just showing the boxes located on those non-perpendicular lots to demonstrate that they do meet the minimum lot width. And again, just as a reminder, the commission may approve with conditions, or disapprove with an explanation for preliminary plots. And for conditional approvals and disapprovals, they have to be cited with a code requirement, and a plotting guide has been provided as part of this item. And with that, staff is recommending approval of the proposed Rye Hill Section 2A preliminary plat.
Thank you. Questions for staff?
I don't have a question.
Commissioner Brown?
Just one quick question. Reserve B, is that going to be park space? What is that going to be for? Just curious.
It's going to be, it's limited to landscape and open space.
Just essentially an open park space or, okay, perfect. Thank you. That's all.
Other questions for staff? I'm going to make a motion in a minute. Is anyone anticipating asking for any revisions or changes to the preliminary plat? Then I will make a motion, to approve the Rye Hill Section 2A preliminary plat as presented to us this evening.
I approve.
Who had the second?
I had the first.
Oh. All right. With the second by Commissioner Patel, I think that's the way that we'll record that one. Any further discussion?
No.
All right, please vote.
That's a yes for me.
But you're a yes.
Yes.
All right, Commissioner Patel is a yes. That passes unanimously among the members present. Thank you, Jessica. And now we will move on to item 4B, consideration of an action on the Abbey Lake Section 1 preliminary plat. My program says Jessica Rodriguez, so come on down.
Lots of Jessicas tonight. Good evening, Commission, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
This is a background that Jessica Eccles just went over, basically on the background of preliminary plats, purposes, looking at lot layouts and street widths and such. And reminder about the box exhibits showing those that are non-perpendicular and on the curved streets and the cul-de-sacs of the purpose of looking for that. These are just looking at the verifying minimum lot widths at those front building lines. Abbey Lake Section 1 is located in the Abbey Lakes development. It's a total of 637 residential lots, with the 371 of those are 50 by 100s and 266 with the 60 by 110 lots. This is the general area of where Section 1 is located in Abbey Lakes. And the general overview of the plat, it is located south of what will be John Sharp. And it'll take a secondary access also from Mornington Drive, which is in the county's ETJ. This is about 30 acres of property with 130 lot line single family lots, 6 blocks and 13 reserves. It's located within city limits with that R1Z zoning that you'll notate on the plat with those arrows that show you where the house will be located on the zero. This is the proposed preliminary plat. As you recall from your previous Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, this is John Sharp, which was approved for preliminary plat. This is Mornington Drive, where we have the other access for that. And you can see over the 134 lots, those arrows that are used to indicate zero lot line. This is the box exhibit. This box exhibit is going to be a little bit different than what we normally see. We've gotten the boxes on all of the lots, not just those that are on curves or cul-de-sacs. We had some questions, so we were unlucky enough that the client working for Abbey Lakes supplied us with this so we could verify the lot widths on all the lots. Just a reminder of that you can approve the conditions, or you can disapprove this plat. Any conditional approvals or disapprovals must have citations from the code, and we have a guidebook that helps you group those together with a action. The recommendation tonight is for approval of the Abbey Lake Section 1 preliminary plat.
Thank you. Questions for staff?
Yes. So The Morning Drive, what is it?
Mornington?
Drive
Yes, ma'am.
continues on to come into this development, right? However, it has to go over a pipeline easement. Would this development be considered a commercial development or a residential development? As a whole, it's a commercial development, right?
No, it's residential development.
The whole thing, the whole plat is considered a residential?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're not required to have access easement over the pipeline? Identified.
Well, the pipeline is outside of the plat boundary. The 30,
But it's an
30
access.
the 30-foot pipeline access easement, it's outside the plat boundary. So it's existing, that portion of Morningside Drive.
That portion is existing.
Yes, ma'am. It's where it picks up on what would be the east side is where that connection's gonna take place for it. So they don't own that property and it's existing. Next time I will provide you an aerial that would probably help a lot more because it is without, outside of our control because it's not within the city of Sugar Land's ETJ, this property, or the city. So it's just strictly in the county.
So since it's a main access to the development at large, it is not required to provide information about an access easement over that pipeline. Because you do, the plat does mention the pipeline easement, right? I'm just making sure because one of the requirements of approval is easements, and under easements, only access easement that is serving as a main access is required to be shown.
So it's on actual right-of-way, Mornington Drive, and the pipeline easement traverses it. So essentially what could happen is the pipeline could come in and tear up that part of Morningside Drive if they had to do any work, and then it would have to be replaced.
Yeah,
But
no, I understand that. I'm just making sure that the plat does not require that access easement to be identified.
This plat does not. It's located outside of the boundary. So it's just showing everything within 200 feet of the plat. But it's existing. It's an existing improvement with the right-of-way for Mornington Drive.
Just asking the question.
Yes, ma'am.
One more question. When you go up to these box exhibit sizes, it says 50*35. Do you want to have that represented by an actual multiplication sign, or you want to use the computer-generated asterisk symbol?
I'm sorry, I don't follow the question or the suggestion.
At the top of this box exhibit, where the exhibits are shown, there's a 50*35 intended
it's
to be written,
asterisk.
right?
Yes.
So it is the computer version for multiplication, but on a document, we tend to see the lowercase x
Yes.
as a multiplication sign. So would that be something that you would consider requiring a revision?
I think I would recommend that maybe you would make a conditional approval on this based on that. It's an obvious error. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions for staff? Commissioner Brown?
I've got one. On the reserve table, Reserve H, I think the square footage is incorrect and it needs to be changed. And I believe that should be probably 17,100 square feet. And it's hard to tell without my rhombus calculator, and I haven't had one of those since college. So I would just ask, is it a condition of approval that get corrected and inserted in a table correctly?
Yes,
Just
sir.
a minor technicality. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I have one last question, sorry. When you look at the plat, there, in the center of the page, there is the approximate limits of shaded zone X. And then there is a broken line, and on the other side, it says approximate limit of shaded zone AE, which I think is a flood zone. And when there is a AE zone, generally, and it's more, the question is more for myself than, asking you to ask somebody to correct it. I've typically seen a BFE written with it, base flood elevation. I don't see it anywhere on the drawing here, and I'm just wondering if that is a requirement, because that line does actually dissect and go back into the plat, and so it does apply if part of their property is an AE zone.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
so
it that's in the floodplain.
It is. So is a base flood elevation requirement?
Not on a preliminary plat.
Not
It's
on
You'll
preliminary
see it on
plat.
the final plat, and you'll actually have a master note that's going to refer to that base elevation. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that was it. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, I will make a motion that we approve the Abbey Lakes Section 1 preliminary plat, subject to the following two conditions. Number one is that the box exhibit sizes on the box exhibit, that the asterisk be changed to a multiplication sign. And number two, that Commissioner Brown's suggestion on the reserve table with reflecting the correct square footage is made. Those conditional approvals would be subject to the following provisions: the Development Application Handbook, Section 4, graphic requirements for preliminary plat, Development Code, Chapter 5, Article 2, Section 5-17, Development Legend Table, Development Code, Chapter 5, Article 2, Section 5-17, and lots and reserves, that's Development Code, Chapter 2, Article 2 for city limits, or Development Code Chapter 5 for ETJ, which I guess this would be now that I think about that. Is there a second? I've got a second by Commissioner Dawood. Any further discussion? Please vote. All right, that's a yes. Commissioner Patel is also a yes. That passes unanimously among the members present. Thank you, staff. Thank you, commissioners. We will now move on to 5A. Planning and Zoning Commission liaison reports. I had the December 17th City Council meeting. The main item that, well, really, I think the only item that was pertinent to P&Z was first consideration of the ordinance of ordinance number 2357, which was the ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 2 of the Sugar Land Development Code by adopting a sign overlay district and rezoning certain properties along Highway 90. As I noted from this discussion, this esteemed commission heard that consideration and tabled it on October the 18th and approved it by a 4-to-1 vote on November the 12th. And whoever was in charge of tabling it in my absence, well done. And that is the only thing that I have to report on that meeting. Did anyone have the January 7th meeting?
I did, and I'm embarrassed to say I left my notes at home, so if there's something that's pertinent, I'll bring it before the commission during our next meeting.
Okay, we'll get that. Item 5B, city staff report. It's already time.
Flying through. Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. I echo the comments. It's very difficult to say 2025, but here we are, nonetheless. So we're jumping right in. So your next meeting will be next Thursday. So this is one of those months where we have back-to-back meetings week to week. So it'll be Thursday, January 23rd. We'll have some items related to Imperial, related to a general development plan amendment and a land use plan amendment related to the Imperial area. And then we will also have your annual orientation. So this is kind of a annual requirement, obviously, to review the roles and responsibilities of all of our boards and commissions. So we will have that, as well as, I believe, some legal updates and just things to keep in mind as you serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission. So
Lisa, I had a question
Yes.
for you. If your report's done, I didn't want to.
I'm done, yes.
Sorry if I interrupted. So on the last, on the plats, there've been a couple meetings where we've had the approval of these preliminary plats.
Yeah.
And there's been reference to that development agreement with Pulte. I'm just curious what, if any, role this commission has related to those development agreements.
So the commission isn't involved in the actual negotiations or approval of development agreements. That's handled at the city council level. But as development occurs, platting happens, and so that is the item or the action that comes before the Planning and Zoning Commission is to plat property.
Got it.
Kind of it's a result of the development agreement and development taking place, or starting, I should say.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else?
Thank
Motion
you.
to adjourn.
Got a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Landine. Second. Got a second. I think, I didn't see, who was that, Commissioner Dawood? That motion passes unanimously. We are adjourned. Good night, everyone.
I won't try to dive into there and get it.